After 4 weeks, I finally lost 2.3 kilos and 1.1% fat. It's not much, but I learned a lot. Let's break down how I did it. I'm breaking this down into 4 parts. Walking, why I personally did it, and also where fat goes when it goes away. Did you ever think about that? Like literally, where does fat go? I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Diet. I always thought that you needed to eat less if you wanted to lose weight. And while that's not wrong, it's also not the entire picture. I learned a lot about calories from a practical point of view, and I want to share with you how a smartwatch and a scale for counting calories helped me get my diet under control and understand weight loss better. Weighing food. As I mentioned, I was counting calories for the past 30 days, and while that may seem horrible and cumbersome, and why would you do that? It's not that cumbersome after all. We have a scale, and I'll show you how we weight our every meal. Lastly, I am not continuing my diet like this, and I'll tell you why. Walking. There are 2 reasons why I did it. One is to not feel hungry. You walk and you don't feel hungry anymore. No, I'm just kidding. That's not how it works. But it's true still. One reason why I walked is to increase my calories on that day. So say if I burned 2,500 calories in total over the entire day, including the walking part, then I get to eat about 2,000 calories because I was aiming at a deficit of about 500. But how does that make me feel less hungry, you might ask? It's not the walking itself. It's the increased amount of calories I can eat on that day. I had one day when the world was ending outside. Thunderstorm, rain, wind, all that. No way you can go outside, and I didn't feel like working out at home. I burned only about 2,000 calories on that day, and that meant I was only allowed to eat about 1,500 calories on that day. Now that made me feel hungry. I was struggling. And so I learned that by increasing the amount of calories that you eat, if it's only by 500, that doesn't seem like much, but it is. It really is. If you increase your caloric intake to about 2,000 a day, so you burn 2.5 and you eat only 2,000, that makes it okay. Like, I don't feel hungry. And that's how I discovered that walking is a great way of increasing your caloric intake. And I walked about 10,000 steps a day, which equates to about an hour of brisk walking for me. The important part is that you walk faster than you normally would, hence brisk walking, because if you just stroll around, that doesn't do anything. So you really have to exert yourself a little bit, just a little bit, and walk a little bit faster. And that's how you activate burning fat. And that is the other reason why I walked. Fat loss. Literally. Listen, did you ever ask yourself where all that mass goes that you magically lose? All those pounds that make it a little easier on other people's eyes? Where do they go? Can you tell? Fat in your body gets split into carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Roughly 20% of these 3 components leaves your body as H2O. It recombines and becomes water. And 80% of it leaves your body as CO2. That's right. In plain English, you breathe most of your fat out. Yes, that's true. While a fifth leaves your body as sweat or urine or other bodily fluids, 80% of it is simply exhaled. Think about that. You're literally breathing out your belly fat, your wiener Würstchen fingers. But let me stop you right here before you start hyperventilating. If you're asking yourself now, can I just breathe more? No, it doesn't work like that. Fat is not broken down into its constituents when you're not working out. Simply sitting there and breathing doesn't make you lose weight. It only makes you lightheaded. And eventually, you will lose consciousness. So, don't do it, mate. You have to move. You have to lift. You have to otherwise exert yourself. Only then does your body split those fat cells. And that's the other reason why I walk. I walk at a fast pace to get my heart rate to about 120 beats per minute. That's about where my body starts using up my fat deposits. Splits those cells apart, and I breathe out my fat while I walk. That's my secret. Now you know it. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in the mathematics of weight loss, yeah, like we all are, don't worry about the mathematics part. It's a great talk. It's a talk about weight loss and exactly the thing that I explained, that you exhale most of your fat when you exert yourself. It's a great talk. Link is in the description. Diet. I don't want to talk about what I ate and which foods are healthy to eat, because how would I know? No, I want to talk about one thing that I learned, and it's this. I did not eat the same amount of calories every day. Let me show you. Saturday, May 1st, 2000 calories. Then Sunday, the day after, 2600. Monday, about 2.2. Then it drops down to 1700. Comes back up, 2000, 2.3. It's never the same amount, as you can see. It's always something else. Why is this important? Why am I pointing this out? I thought that if you want to lose weight, you have to eat less. And you eat less by setting a fixed amount of calories you are allowed to eat every day. And you don't go above that amount. That's how I thought how weight loss works. But as you saw a second ago, I never ate the same amount twice. And I still lost weight. That's because instead of fixing the amount I eat, I fixed the amount I didn't eat. It's called caloric deficit. I kept my deficit at around 500 every day, and this is where the magical device comes into play, the smartwatch. This thing, it can measure your heartbeat and your skin temperature, and fancy other stuff. The important thing is, if you type in how tall you are, how much you weigh, it is going to tell you how much calories you burn every day through every exercise that you do. And that's important because otherwise you just don't know. If you walk for an hour, how much does that burn? If you take the stairs, how much does that burn? Riding the bicycle? Mountain biking? If you start guessing, you might as well not do it. So the watch is a fuel gauge, if you will. It tracks how much calories you burn, and then you know how much calories you have to eat less than that. Let me show you how a deficit of 500 calories a day amounts to about a loss of 2 kilograms over 30 days. Eating 500 calories less a day and doing that for 30 days means 500 times 30 equals 15,000 in total. How much is that in kilos? It turns out that 1 pound of fat is roughly 3,500 calories. It's actually more than that, but let's keep it simple. 15,000 divided by 3,500 is about 2 kilos. This is for only 1 month, mind you. We are an incredible animal and our bodies adapt to changes fairly quickly. And I expect my body is going to soon figure out what I'm doing to my body, and it's gonna adapt. I'm going to start losing less weight over time because my body adapts to using up less energy, being more energy efficient. That's just how our bodies work. And yeah, I just wanted to let you know that these results are short-term results, and I expect my results to change as I go. I'll keep you updated on that in future videos. Weighing food. Now, I never thought I'd weigh my food. It's what crazy people do. It seems so pedantic. But it's not that bad to be crazy. I've done this for a month now and I don't feel any negative side effects. I'm not aggressive or anything. Hey, that's my cookie! Let me show you how I weigh my food. Come on. You take your apple and then you wait for this sound. And we have our weight. Now you simply subtract your own weight and you get to know how much the apple weighs. I'm just kidding. Here, come, let me show you. This is a Thermomix. It's a German product. You may have heard of it. Vorwerk. This whole thing, it's a scale. Okay, so those feet that you can see, a scale. That thing, a scale. A scale. That entire thing, it stands on feet that are this scale. So let's activate that function and then you see, yep. Take the apple, put it on top and then see what it weighs. We have 145 grams of apple. Let me show you a few other things that are a little bit harder to weigh. For example, spread. Take some spread. Then you take a slice of bread and you can put it on the bread itself. I don't feel hungry right now, so I'm just gonna demonstrate what I want to show you. So now you know how much it weighs. It weighs about 5 grams. That works the other way around as well. So if you place that on top, again, you zero that weight. You can take some spread off and then you see, oh, okay, that's 5 grams. Another thing I like to do is when you have something on your plate, like something like salad that you can't take off that easily, and you forgot to weigh the salad. Now you have the plate and the salad, you don't know how much the salad is. Yeah, I know. So to demonstrate that, I'm gonna take this sweet bun. It's not salad, but I'm just gonna demonstrate the concept. So you wanna know how much that bun weighs, right? Well, you just take another plate, an empty one. You put that plate on the scale, all right? Then you reset the scale to 0. You go back to your original plate with the salad or what have you, and voila! It tells you the net weight of the plate because the plate has already been deducted from the total weight. Yeah, don't look at me like that. It's confusing all of us. Lastly, I am not continuing my diet the same way I did in the past 30 days. I'm not unhappy with my results. I'm just thinking that this never-ending, continuous caloric deficit diet doesn't sustain itself. Like, it's not sustainable for too long. I never get a break. I'm always looking to be 500 calories below my energy expenditure. I feel like I'm gonna go crazy if I can't eat up to full. I want to eat up to full. And there are health benefits if you allow yourself short or long breaks where you are allowed to eat up to full and then continue with the deficit again. Psychologically, it's better if you take breaks because then if you see a hamburger and say it's Tuesday and you allow yourself to eat up to full on the weekend, then you can go like, well, I'm not gonna have this hamburger today, but I am gonna have it on the weekend. And that does feel good. It just feels good mentally, psychologically. You're just more balanced. You're not edgy all the time. You're not starving your body to death. And that's another thing. Like, if you have a continuous diet with a continuous deficit and you never eat up to full until you hit your weight goal, I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like it's not something I want to sustain. Plus, you retain more lean muscle if you take breaks. If you don't, you lose that lean muscle. If you don't take breaks, your body starts thinking you are starving it to death and it starts losing excess muscle that you don't currently need. And you don't actually want that. But if you do take breaks, then your body knows you love it. It is not going to starve to death anytime soon and you get to live another day. If you want more info on the topic, there's a great video about the differences in diets linked in the description. Do check it out.